Hello, it's Tony Books Avilez here, my personal training studio, the Body House, 333 Sand Lane on Staten Island. And I learned a big lesson this weekend. Had a lot of great stuff that was going on. Had a chance to do a lot of really fun things. Big challenge that my wife has got some chronic back issues and definitely had a big flare up, and there was a bunch of stuff that we were supposed to do. We have some folks who do some work for us and didn't show up. We had some things that needed to get done, and so this is actually the first Sunday I had off in I don't know how long. And so I ended up basically day off, having to help the wife, which is a necessity, obviously, right? Happy wife, happy life. And was really tired, took a nap, and one of the fathers who lives in the neighborhood, we have a group we call the Four Fathers who basically straighten stuff out in our neighborhood. So we say all the fathers have yoke privileges, which basically means that if any of the kids get out of line, daddy can straighten you out, whether it's your daddy or one of the other daddies, which I like. It's one of those old school kind of neighborhood things which I grew up with, which in most neighborhoods we don't have. So anyway, it was a pretty busy weekend, and I was just getting up from a nap that I took, trying to refresh myself, and like I said, I had a lot of stuff to do and had to help Kim because she was having some issues. I actually had to go to the doctor. And Richie, one of the neighborhood fathers, came to me and he goes, "Oh, we're going to go to the park. Are you going?" I said, "Man, I really can't go. I have a lot to do." And by the time I woke up, I asked my wife where my son Antonio was. She goes, "Well, he went to the park." So I figured, okay, good. He was going to the park, and he was doing get a chance to play with the other kids. So the next day, my friend Terrence posted a picture on Facebook, and so here it is. So there's my neighbor Richie, great guy. There's my friend Terrence, and Terrence and I have known each other since we've been 11 and 12 or 10 and 11, something like that. So here's Richie with his two boys. There's Terrence with his two boys, and there's Antonio. And where's his dad? When I think about it, I kind of get emotional because, I mean, any of us who are parents, we know how much we love our kids, and I never want to be in a situation like that ever again, where my son was without his dad. And so the lesson I learned, and that I want to share with everyone, is that, I mean, I'm ambitious, baby. I mean, I've done a lot of things that I'm very proud of, and this was not done intentionally at all. But I'm going to say this. Let me look directly in the camera when I say this. I'm never going to let that happen again. I'm never going to let a situation where I'm going to be too busy for my son. He deserves better than that. And this kid is a trooper. When I became a dad, I was 40 years old, so later in life, and I was building my business and going through a very difficult time. And I used to carry that kid to the gym with me while I was working with clients in a bassinet. I used to take him with me to my networking meetings in a bassinet. And this kid never cried, never complained. I only have one, but he definitely would be the type of kid that would fool you into having another one. And lesson learned, and if you have this situation, it may be relevant to you too. I'm always going to have time for my son. So I learned my lesson. So remember that, take that with you if it's relevant, if it works for you. If it's not, well, I'm sorry that I spent time talking about something that wasn't relevant to you, but what's relevant to me? Learned my lesson. Always put your heart and soul in your goal.